On Monday, Fox News' Tucker Carlson revealed one of his most powerful reports to date. And I believe that he is literally putting his career on the line by telling you the truth of what the Democratic Party is now doing. He is literally risking it all. You see, right now, over 25,000 troops have been sent to D.C. This is a full-fledged military occupation, worse than anything we've seen in Iran and Afghanistan. Take a look at this article on BusinessInsider.com. There will be more U.S. troops in D.C. for Biden's inauguration than in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. A stark reminder of the danger, they say, of homegrown extremism. But how many troops are actually in Iran and Afghanistan? We'll take a look at this article here on militarytimes.com. New in 2021, U.S. troop presence heading down to 2,500 in Iraq and Afghanistan. In other words, there's about 2,500 in Iran and about 2,500 in Afghanistan, putting it at about 5,000 troops. So we nearly have 5 times the amount of troops in D.C. than we do in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. This is military occupation of D.C. Take a listen to what Tucker Carlson had to say about it.
So no matter what they are telling you, those 26,000 federal troops are not there for your safety. Instead, unmistakably, the Democratic Party is using those troops to send the rest of us a message about power. We're in charge now. We run this nation from Honolulu to our colony in the Caribbean and everything in between, very much including where you and your family live. Do not question us. Men with guns enforce our decrees. We control the Pentagon. And indeed, they do control the Pentagon.
He is absolutely right. This is a Democratic show of power. The Democratic Party, after banning the President of the United States from multiple platforms, wants to show you, the American people, how strong and powerful they are. But to add a little fuel to the fire, so to speak, the Democratic arm has their FBI arm now vetting the 26 some odd thousand National Guard troops at the Capitol, not to see if they're loyal to the Constitution, but to see if they're loyal to a political party. That has never happened in our history. Take a listen to what Tucker Carlson has to say, and he's putting his butt on the line by saying it.
Democrats in Congress demanded that the troops sent to Washington this week submit to a political purity test, ideological vetting, as they put it, to make certain that every soldier professed loyalty to the new regime. Not loyalty to our country, not loyalty to our Constitution, but loyalty to the aims of a specific political party. Nothing like that has ever happened in America, and just a few months ago, it would have been unimaginable. Suddenly, it's compulsory.
Never, ever in the history of the United States of America have our troops been asked or vetted by the FBI to find out if their allegiance is with one political party or another. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this in a supposedly free country? Well, Steve Cohen weighs in. Take a listen to what he said on CNN.
I was thinking the Guard is 90 some odd percent, I believe, male. Only about 20% of white males voted for Biden. You got to figure that in the Guard, which is predominantly more conservative, and I see that on my social media and we know it, they're probably not more than 25% of the people that are there protecting us who voted for Biden. The other 75% are in the class that would be the large class of folks who might want to do something.
Because 70% of our National Guard is white, and because they voted for President Trump and not Biden, that is automatic grounds to treat them as an enemy of the United States of America, to treat them as a potential murderer because they're white and because they voted Republican. Take a listen to what Tucker Carlson had to say about Steve Cohen's message.
We should pause that tape, and we should consider for a moment and think deeply about what Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee just told us on television. He said that every white man in this country is a potential murderer. Every white man in America should be under suspicion, purely on the basis of being white and male, of planning a presidential assassination. He told us the National Guard is overwhelmingly white and male. Therefore, Congressman Cohen says, white male National Guardsmen must undergo government background checks to prove they're not planning murder. Steve Cohen didn't couch any of that. He just said it, and the CNN anchor nodded as he did.
This has nothing to do with vetting people based off the Constitution. It is strictly on vetting someone, whether they're on our side or your side. That's what this is about. That's what it's all about. And that's not all. It's now a collective form of punishment. Take a listen.
Collective punishment is now the official policy of the federal government, and it's enforced by the Pentagon. You'd love at some point to ask Congressman Cohen about the implications of this. Since we've established this new standard, this new requirement of collective punishment, what other groups of Americans, Congressman Cohen, should be denounced and hurt simply because of the way they look, simply because of the DNA they were born with? Or does this new standard apply only to white men? And if it does apply exclusively to white men, which is definitely the impression we're getting from you, how does targeting white men contribute to your stated goal of reducing white male extremism?
This is the kind of thing that happens in communist countries, not in free countries. Over in China right now, if you're a Uyghur Muslim or a Falun Gong or a Christian, just for being part of those religions, you can be rounded up and put into a re-education camp. You don't have to commit any crime, nope. Just because you're of that slant of religion, you're rounded up. It's collective punishment that the Democratic Party is pushing for. And a matter of fact, right now, there is leftist radicals calling and saying that President Trump is going to start an army, a domestic terrorist army. Take a look at this article on Newsweek.com. Viral video warns of Donald Trump sets to take charge of army of domestic terrorists. I mean, really? What is this army? Everyone who supports the President of the United States now being labeled as part of a domestic army by the President? I mean, that's a bit overboard by this leftist radical. But hey, now that Joe Biden's coming into presidency, they have plans for domestic terrorists. Take a look at a few of these articles. Time.com. Everyone thinks I'm a terrorist. Capitol riot fuels calls for domestic war on terror. FoxNews.com. In wake of Capitol riot, feds warn that violent extremists likely pose greatest domestic terrorist threats. Politico.com. DC Mayor Bowser says focus must shift to domestic white terrorism. KT.com. Biden administration expects early focus on domestic extremism threat. Wow. So the biggest threat are people at the Capitol riot. That's the biggest threat, not the Antifa and BLM literally rioting, burning down our cities and killing people in mass. Nope. Because they're part of the agenda. But hey, don't worry. Just who is a domestic terrorist or enemy of the state? Nancy Pelosi. Let us know who that was. Take a look at this article on foxnews.com. Pelosi calls Trump GOP lawmakers domestic enemies, enemies of the state, over their mail-in voting opposition. So GOP members and President Trump, also known as Republicans, right, Nancy? That's what they are domestic enemies of the state, or domestic terrorists, if you will. That's according to Nancy Pelosi. But it's not like we have anything to worry about. It's not like social media is removing conservative platforms and voices and names en masse. Oh, wait. They actually are. Insurances are denying people. We have banks removing people for their conservative views. We have Uber doing that. What's next? I guess we get to wait and find out. This is just one reason I urge you. You got to start getting over to these alternative platforms. Sign up for restrictedrepublic.com right now. We've got a limited offer of $5 per month using the code TRUMP because of everything that's going on. And it's $5 for an entire year. This is an alternative platform where we can speak openly and freely with freedom of speech in mind. And other things you need to do is get a VPN. Look, right now we live in a world where you're tracked and traced. Everything you do online is tracked and traced. A VPN acts as if your computer is another computer, so you're looking off basically a different computer. It's not you looking at the computer. This is why it's absolutely critical that you have a VPN today. And right now you can get it at an amazing deal at hidewithlisa.com. This is a VPN that I will not go without using on my phones and on my computer at home. And it's one of the best ones in my opinion because they get rid of everything within 24 hours. So check them out at hidewithlisa.com. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.